Welcome to True
Heads
Health
up!
Hi, I'm the ballsy badass Shotzi Blackheart, and you're watching True Hill Heat. Ow, ow, ow!
Ladies and gents, I am Killer Cross,
And I'm Scarlett Bordeaux.
and you are watching True Heel Heat. TikTok, motherfucker.
Hello, I'm Willow Nightingale, and though I might generally be regarded as a very bubbly, upbeat person, you're watching True Hill Heat.
Hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. Back once again. It's been a while. It's been a long time without you, my friend. Back on THH Sports and Entertainment once again to restart a new show to review here with all of you. And we're talking about season 2, episodes 1 through 3 for Peacemaker, DCU's latest studio production on HBO and HBO Max, starring the one and only 17-time world champion John Cena. We're here to discuss it all with you. Appreciate y'all if you're watching us on the premiere whenever this drops. And appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. We're going to talk some Peacemaker for 3 videos straight. Episodes 1 through 3 for season 2 will be this video here. Episodes 4 through 5 will be a separate video, and then episodes 6 through 8 will be the final video talking about the completion of season 2 of Peacemaker. I've a hell of a time watching this show. I think that it has gave us a very worthy sequel to the exceptional season 1 from back in 2022. 3 years later, a lot of time off. So much has happened in the DCU. So much has happened in a lot of these guys' careers, but they came back and they hit us hard, and they hit us with another fantastic season of Peacemaker. And I'm going to be happy to talk about it with all of you. But show your appreciation back the simplest way possible. Drop a thumbs up on the video. Helps out the YouTube algorithm, other Peacemaker fans like yourself to see this video. You can share this video with all your wrestling or Peacemaker or DCU family, friends, and fans. You can share this video. Subscribe if you are new to the channel. We're still very, very close to 1,000 subscribers, trying to hit that at least into 2026 for sure. And of course, you can sound off in the live chat, sound off in the comment section. Let us know what you thought about Peacemaker season 2, episodes 1 through 3. Now, usually, if I'm doing a new show, I would hit y'all with a character tier list. Character tier list kind of break down seasons 1 and 2, seasons 1 heading into seasons 2. Usually, I'd be joined by Miss Chrissy Love. Miss Chrissy Love will be joining me for one of these reviews. I believe it's going to probably be episode 6 through 8 review, where we'll be doing a more comprehensive character tier list based on not only season 1 of Peacemaker, but seasons 1 and 2. So you have that to look forward to. We're going to review episodes 6 through 8 and give you our finished character tier list for Peacemaker seasons 1 and 2 on that video. But this one here, we're here to talk about it. We're going to talk about Peacemaker. I did my due diligence of rewatching season 1. Of course, the main premise of season 1 was following up from the event of the second Suicide Squad in 2021. Peacemaker had committed murder, killing Rick Flag Jr. He had been shot down and basically wasn't a part of the rescue mission, which helped out against Project Starfish. Then we find him in the hospital. He's broken out because he's going to start working with a government agency under Project Starfish. Project Butterfly, excuse me, Project Butterfly. This leads to Peacemaker joining forces with the crew that consists of John Economos and Amelia Harcourt, who we both met both of them in Suicide Squad as a part of Amanda Waller's team. He also meets the leader of the crew, who is actually a hidden butterfly, who has a butterfly living in his head, and he meets Leota Adebayo, who becomes his best friend and his confidant in this team that affectionately become known as the 11th Street Kids off of their love for 80s pop rock. They basically save the world from Project Butterfly, destroying the cow that all the butterflies feed off of, saving the world from an alien invasion from the butterflies. But as we've seen in this first episode that we'll discuss here, hasn't exactly left Chris in the best place, considering the fact that we learned the backstory of Chris in season 1, that as a kid, he accidentally murdered his brother Keith. He also murdered his father, Augie, who is a racist Nazi piece of shit known as White Dragon. He killed him by shooting him in the head after White Dragon basically wanted to take him down and basically end this mission that he was on. So a lot of trauma, a lot of stuff going down with him. He did see a vision of the ghost of his father at the end of the season, which led us into this season where we get a smart recap of everything that happened in season 1. We see Chris talking to kids about his work, and they ask about his origin story. With that, all the events of season 1 come flooding back to his head, but with one small change. At the end, when we see the Justice League make the save, we see Aquaman and Flash. Flash have some lines at the end of season 1 of Peacemaker. Instead, we now see the Justice Gang. Superman's Green Lantern and Hawk Girl are there instead. Now in the present, we see Chris waking up in the middle of the night because Eagle Lee won't stop calling him. As it's too cold for him to fly outside, he goes to the pocket dimension that we found out was belonged to Chris's father, Augie, but with Augie now passed away, he's left it down to his son. After a while, Peacemaker searches the place looking for him until he finds the bird scratching at a door. In front of it, there are many of Peacemaker helmets there. So he decides to try the code, his father's code, on the door, and it actually works. He enters and he sees a fancy trophy room with several prizes and photos, one of himself and 2 other people, forming a group called Top Trio. Then the biggest surprise yet is his father appears. Normally acting if he's sleepwalking again, he rushes out of there and forgets the whole experience. 6 months later, we get our next scene where Adebayo is giving Chris a ride because he has somewhere important to go. While driving, she says she's been on bad terms with Kia, her wife, and can't understand why. Surprisingly, Peacemaker is the sympathetic one, saying that she must be worried that you might die, but his friend still can't understand this. She's still kind of got the blinders up at this point. Finally, they arrive at a rundown place inside. We see Maxwell Lord, Green Lantern, and Hawk Girl are all holding court and holding interviews for new members of the Justice Gang. Peacemaker is excited, but things quickly go wrong. Maxwell has a button that's supposed to mute his microphone so people can't hear his opinions, but it isn't working. So from the start, Chris listens to him and the Justice Gang bad-mouthing everything he says. At one point, they even ignore him and start talking about popcorn. Fed up with it, he tells them about the microphone and leaves before they can say anything else to him. Meanwhile, Amelia Harcourt is also having a bad interview. She's trying to join a new organization to do her usual work, but a doctor says that she can't because he has a severe case of toxic masculinity, which is hilarious, especially knowing Harcourt. Meaning she's too explosive, doesn't listen to anyone's opinions, and suppresses her emotions. She denies everything and blames Amanda Waller, but after that, she's so angry that she punches her car until her hand bleeds. When she gets home, Chris is waiting for her. He helps her with her hand, and they bond over their awful day trying to get a new job. However, the nice moment is ruined when Chris asks about what happened on the party boat between them. Harcourt says that it was a mistake and the end of it. Both of them get angry, and Peacemaker leaves the house. To distract himself, he smokes weed and does cocaine. He's already too wasted when a party/orgy starts in his house. He can't make much sense of anything. We did learn earlier in the episode that he's now living in Augie's house, his father. Still, he's about to make an even worse decision. As Chris gets up in his drunken state, he goes to the pocket dimension. Meanwhile, we see Economus. He is working with the CIA again, with Argus. Economist is in a van outside Chris's home talking with Adrian, who feels lonely and wants to talk about owls. He says, ask me about my owl facts. I know all the facts about owls. Adrian Chase is the best character on the show. Vigilante, best character. When his boss calls him out, Economist is finally free to do his job. When Adrian's boss calls him out, he hangs up the phone. It's good timing because a signal lights up on his radar. He's working for Argus, and Sasha Bordeaux is I guess, in charge of him in some way. She instantly calls him to know if he's seeing anything. Then she puts Rick Flag on the phone, and he tells Economist to investigate. It turns out that he sees Peacemaker before the man enters the pocket dimension. However, he only takes a picture of it and doesn't reveal it to anyone from Argus because Economist is a fucking real one. Despite all of his bitch assness, he's a fucking real one. Flag doesn't seem to trust him and says to Bordeaux that they must make surveying Peacemaker their top priority, and also they need a new person on the scene, someone they can trust. After that, Chris enters the door from before again and analyzes everything inside the house. It's already a lot for him, but the biggest surprise is actually on its way. He gets out of the house to get a breather, and a car comes coming, and it's actually his brother Keith, grown up, still alive, and well. Chris can't believe his eyes. He's finally seeing the brother that he's missed all his life. But things get even stranger when his father shows up. Excited that the three of them are there, still confused, Chris sits down to talk with them and finds the love between the family weird. It's so different from what he experienced. Meanwhile, Harcourt is starting a fight in a biker bar. It starts with only one guy angry at her, but she quickly starts beating up almost everyone there. Once one of them gets her good, the others kick her down and she stops fighting. They throw her out and she smiles while looking at the mood all bruised and bloody. At the same time, Economist wants Adebayo's help because he doesn't know what to do. He can't lose his job at Argus, but he also doesn't wish to throw Peacemaker under the bus. So Adebayo accepts helping him and says she'll talk to Chris to find out what's happening. On his side of things, Chris's father and brother go to sleep, but not before saying they love him, which is another big surprise for him. Chris then goes to his room and he has another reunion, but unfortunately this was not so pleasant as it's with his Earth 2 self. Chris tries to explain what's happening, but his version of this world refuses to listen to him. They start fighting. Chris runs into the pocket dimension, but the man sends a magical ninja stars after him, cutting his back. However, he manages to reach the pocket dimension where he's still being chased. Their fight intensifies there as his alternate self is about to kill him. He activates the man's jetpack, basically hitting his chest. Unfortunately, he didn't realize there was some kind of machinery out on the ceiling, which propagates the other and kills the other Peacemaker. Chris doesn't even have time to do anything as the man falls and dies in his arms. What a way to kick off this second season of Peacemaker. That was like a hell of a close to the show and a hell of a cliffhanger for the rest of the season, where we did get the sense of this pocket dimension is going to become the very important storyline of the season. It's the fact that they have the pocket dimension, the fact that it's angering Argus, the fact that Argus is surveilling Peacemaker, and it's not 100% to do with the pocket dimension. They were surveying him before they even knew about it. So there's a lot to take in from that. And then Chris going into the pocket dimension and seeing the differences between his world and that one, you get a big sense of what's going to go down in this episode. So as far as episode 1, season 2, thumbs up from me. out of 10. I'm going to give it an 8. 8 out of 10. MVP for this episode, I'm going to give it to Economist. Economist for keeping the secret. Keeping the secret, seeing that Chris has a pocket dimension, but not letting Argus know it. He deserves MVP for the show. LVP, it's got to be Earth 2, Peacemaker. Sorry. Episode 2 of Season 2 of Peacemaker opens with 8 months into the past to when Rick Flag Sr. joined Argus as its director. Economist presents him to the facility and to his office. However, he receives a request he's not prepared for. The man wants the files for the Suicide Squad's mission to Corto Mortis. Economist tries to convince him not to read it, but he only gets angrier. In the end, he gets the file and he reads it at his desk alone. As he reads every word about his son's death, trying to do the right thing. He clearly becomes sadder and furious after he learns Peacemaker killed Rick Flag Jr. This leads to Rick Flag Sr. hitting his desk and deciding to spy on the anti-hero's house 24/7. After that, we go to the show's intro and we cut to the present where Peacemaker takes a shower, desperately trying to take the blood off himself, meanwhile crying in the background at the same time. We get Leota stops by Kia's house to get some stuff. She's greeted by her dogs. However, she didn't expect Kia to be there at the time. They discuss their relationship and it becomes clear they have different perspectives on what each of them is doing. When Lee says goodbye, she tells Kia that she loves her, but the ex doesn't even answer her. Economist is still spying on Peacemaker's house when someone suddenly knocks on his van. It's his new partner, Flurry. The man is very peculiar, so they can't really see eye to eye. One of the bizarre traits of Flurry is that he has bird blindness. He sees eagerly and he asks him if that's a duck. And Economist is confused, saying that that's obviously an eagle, which that gives the reveal that Flurry has bird blindness, meaning that he can never tell the differences between birds, be it in their size, their species, or anything. While they spy on Peacemaker, Lee arrives at his house. She wants an explanation for the weird door that he has at home and reveals everything about Argus being after him. Then she gives him advice, telling him to tell Argus about the pocket dimension, or they might use that as a reason to arrest him. He still isn't sure about what to do, but that conversation is interrupted by Adrian arriving. They say they'll see each other again at a party at Harcourt's house, and they say goodbye. Peacemaker called Adrian because he wants help to get rid of his alternate self's body. He thinks about what Leota said, and he still proceeds with his plan and enters the pocket dimension, which flares a signal to Argus. Seeing that, Brodeur tells Flurry to go behind Economist's back and return to the house at night with the squad to investigate every corner of it, which would lead to one of the best scenes of the whole entire season. Meanwhile, Peacemaker and Adrian cut the body into pieces. Chase feels pretty calm doing this, but the protagonist is deeply shaken as he's basically cutting up his own body. And that only gets worse when they burn the corpse and he sees his dead eyes looking at him. When he was throwing the body parts in the incinerator, his alternate self's phone fell from his pocket. Now he's looking at the life he could have led, one in which he and Harcourt could be a happy couple. However, while he's too focused on that, Argus is already moving to get evidence they need to arrest him. Flurry's team is organizing their guns and their tools they need to inspect the house. As soon as Peacemaker leaves the house, they want to go in, but Flurry doesn't let them. He says they need to wait as the man can return for something, which leads to a whole argument between the crew, and you already know this shit ain't gonna work out too well. Economist is the first to arrive at Harcourt's house. They go to the roof to drink. Suddenly, Adrian arrives almost at the same time, but by climbing the fire escape, which Harcourt isn't happy about. But Chase is too dense to understand that she isn't joking. Then Peacemaker and Leota arrive, and the party is ready. Flurry's team is already trying to break into Peacemaker's house, and they are progressing fast. Within minutes, one of them finds the door with the abnormal readings. When he's about to open it, Eagerly attacks. The bird shows the killing machine he is by viciously striking every intruder into Peacemaker's house. Although Flurry tries to help, his bird blindness renders him almost useless. Even when Eagerly is in front of him, he doesn't know where to shoot him because he doesn't recognize the size of him. He doesn't want to shoot somebody by accident, so he doesn't shoot at all. After a while, the Eagle defeats the whole team, leaving Flurry for last, who gets taken out with a hit to the head. In a perfect contrast, Peacemaker and his fans are having a blast. They're all drinking, partying, and dancing together. Peacemaker also uses this opportunity to call Harcourt closer to him. They talk and even laugh together, but the moment doesn't last. When Peacemaker asks her what happened to her eye, he tries to tell her that starting fights won't help anything, and that he understands her. That gets on her nerves, and she begins to criticize him and push him away. Soon she gets so angry that she leaves him there by himself and goes off to just basically drink and party with the others. After that, Chris gets home so drunk that he doesn't even realize someone broke into his house and all the mess that Eagerly beating their asses did. Then he makes the worst mistake any drunk person can make. He sends a message to the alternate world Harcourt. However, it can't be delivered as he's in the wrong universe. So he makes an even worse decision. Peacemaker drunkenly goes into the pocket dimension and enters the alternate universe. There, the message arrives and Harcourt answers him instantly. He listens to his father and brother looking for him and talking about the blood they found on the house, but still he doesn't leave. As the woman answers him, he sits and he looks at his phone and he gets into a whole conversation with her. This was just more of like a follow-up episode than very much like a strong standalone episode as much as episode 1, but I thought it was solid follow-up for what we got in episode 1. We needed this episode to kind of put the characters in place, what direction we're going in, and what are like the stories that we need to follow and see progress in the coming episode. So this still is going to get a thumbs up episode from me for episode 2 of season 2 of Peacemaker. Out of 10, I'm going to give this episode a 7. I'm going to give it a 7. Solid, good progression, but nothing to kind of write home about in the terms of like the similar fashion that I would write home about episode 1. Episode 1 hit you hard, give you a banger ending that left you with a cliffhanger that you had to watch the next episode immediately after. Episode 3 then took everything from those 2 episodes and took their swing at it. We start off this episode with 3 years earlier, showing that Amelia Harcourt has slept with Rick Flag Jr. once. She was his only friend, and he was hers. Still, he liked her so much that he felt it wouldn't be a bad idea to endanger their friendship if it meant they could be together. Little did they know they wouldn't even get the chance. In a few hours, Flag would go on his mission to Corto Martis, in which Peacemaker would kill him. Back to the present, Keith wakes Chris up in the alternate dimension. He's disorientated at the start, but soon he realizes what's happening. Then he sees the message he sent to Harcourt, and he remembers that he has to meet her now to talk. However, he doesn't know anything about that reality. He asks Keith as if it's like a pop quiz about Harcourt's job and how to get there. His brother finds it weird, but answers anyway, saying that she works at Argus. And as a piece of great news, Peacemaker has his own thematic bike, the Peace Cycle, which Chris is head over heels about. When he sees this ridiculous vehicle, it's love at first sight, obviously, for Chris. He rejoices as he drives it down the street, and the entire city seems to love him. He's an adored and beloved hero. At the same time, Leota wakes up incredibly drunk and asks the normal Harcourt about her and Chris. However, she doesn't want to talk about it. To make things worse, Adrian interrupts their talk by being annoying about animal facts. Once they go somewhere else to talk, Leota mentions Peacemaker's qualities and asks Harcourt why she doesn't want to get involved with him. Although she doesn't explain herself and admits she knows he loves her, She says it will never happen. However, Peacemaker is trying to change that in the alternate dimension. Unfortunately, he has to face an unexpected obstacle again as he sees the man he murdered, Rick Flag Jr., who in this world is Harcourt's newest boyfriend. Thankfully, instead of being dangerous, he's more of a goofball. So when Harcourt and Chris go out to talk, he just stares at them and trips around the place, thinking that he's being stealth. But another danger is slowly approaching him. The Argus from his universe. Bordeaux calls Economist and asking him about Eagly and demanding that he go to work now. She's currently at the hospital with Fleury and some of his people who got hurt during the bust. Back to Peacemaker, he's having the time of his life with Harcourt. He realizes even more that he loves her. When they sit down, she wants to know what he wants to talk about. The Chris from her reality already hurt her a lot, and she doesn't want to deal with that again. But he surprises her by saying that he has changed and by being vulnerable. Luckily, he's apparently very different from the Peacemaker from this reality. Harcourt admits that if he has really changed and gives her the time to think, things might still work out between them. But the rest of their heart-to-heart will have to wait as several people suddenly begin to run in distress near them. Then one of them all of a sudden explodes out of nowhere, throwing Chris and Harcourt far away from the impact. All the while, I've been noticing, like, as he's riding the P cycle, the P cycle, as he's walking around with Harcourt, this world has a zero amount of color people. I have not seen one Mexican, one Indian, one black person since Chris got to this universe. This was the episode that I originally started peeping what the big reveal would be later in the season. A group named Sons of Liberty is attacking a nearby DMV and planting bombs that could take out the whole block. Even though he doesn't have his costume, Chris gets an idea of how to save the hostages and disarms the explosives. He enters a pet shop next to the DMV, goes up to his rooftop, and jumps through a window to get inside the building. From then on, it's a massacre party. The Sons of Liberty go check out what's happening separately, and they don't have a chance against Peacemaker. Even when they tried to fight him together, he kills them with ease, shooting all of them pretty much with one bullet. After he deals with all of them, he has to stop the bombs. He doesn't know what to do, but he just disconnects a few cables, and it luckily works out. We will learn later why that would work out for him and why it was so easy to defuse. A helicopter is right above the building as it was supposed to take the Sons of Liberty to safety. Not only do they fail their mission, but their ending isn't so happy as well. Keith arrives in his suit and blasts through the vehicle, making it crash and explode. When he leaves the building, Harcourt hugs him, and everyone watching the incident congratulates him and applauds him. Every second that passes, Chris is loving this dimension more and more and more. However, things aren't looking good for him in his home reality. Bordeaux has prepared an even bigger team to invade his home. Now she even has a professional eagle hunter to kill Eagly, played by the wonderful Michael Rooker, who played Yondu in Guardians of the Galaxy. Economist is against it, and he doesn't want to lose his job, so he continues with the team. To make things even worse for Economist, he has a new awful partner, Rip Jagger, who is none other than Judo Master, who is a part of the Butterfly Gang, who fought the 11th Street Kids in Season 1. While the team is ready to swarm Peacemaker's house, he's still rejoicing in his incredible day. Harcourt tells him that it was a great day and that she's happy about their talk. His brother says he loves him. Chris says leaves the alternate dimension with a huge smile on his face, feeling so fulfilled and loved for the first time in his life, but clearly plans on returning there sooner rather than later. As he opens the door to his house, he has no idea what's expecting him on the other side. This was a little bit more in the direction of episode 1. We're moving things forward. We're getting the image of what this dimension looks like to Chris before we get the ultimate reveal of what this reality really is. There always if something seems too good and it's early in the season, it's going to turn out to be evil in the end. And we will find that out sooner rather than later. And we would get more clues that Chris just seems ignorant to. So very good episode in setting up this alternate universe, showing us the differences, showing us Chris thriving in the alternate world, and thus giving him a reason to want to be there instead of his own reality. So I thought that they worked that out very well. They played that out exceptionally, like the callback and bringing back Judo Master to be a part of Argus and work against Peacemaker here. That was a nice bit of storytelling being said here. I thought Economist, great interactions with the old crew. Flurry, Tim Meadows has been a stellar addition to the cast. Between episodes 2 and 3, he was hilarious, and just the funny nicknames that he had for the different Argus members, the bird blindness, his talking and his banter with Economist, just exceptional work. Just great stuff. Fucking fantastic. So thumbs up for episode 3, obviously. MVP for this episode, I'm going to give it to Flurry. I should have given it to Flurry for episode 2, but I'm going to give it to episode 3 for Flurry. He didn't get beat up by an eagle in this episode, at least. LVP for the episode, and I'll give the co-MVP to Chris because he's having the time of his life, and he actually seemed like a hero here. So LVP, give it to Harcourt, our reality Harcourt, because she's just too against showing any type of love towards Chris, and I just don't understand it. Like, y'all can bond, and the Earth 2 Harcourt ain't that much better either. So, yeah. But that was episodes 1 through 3 for season 2 of Peacemaker. We'll be dropping in a couple of days season 2 episodes 4 through 5 episode reviews, so be on the lookout for that. Let us know what you thought. Who was your MVP and LVP from all these episodes? For episode 3, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 again. So the same score I gave for episode 1. So episode 1, 8 out of 10. Episode 2, 7 out of 10. Episode 3, 8 out of 10. That is my rankings. That is my ratings for the first 3 episodes of season 2 of Peacemaker. Be on the lookout for episodes 4 through 5 review, dropping in a few days. And dropping next week, we got our episodes 6 through 8 review, which I should be joined by Miss Chrissy Love. So join us for that as well. But that is all for Peacemaker Season 2, episodes 1 through 3 review. That is my opinion, but that doesn't have to be yours. Let us know what you thought about Peacemaker Season 2, episodes 1 through 3 in the comments. Give us your rating, your MVPs for each episode, what you thought. If you're watching live in the live chat, you could do that there as well. Drop a thumbs up on the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you are new to True Hill Heat Sports and Entertainment, because we're going to have a lot more about Peacemaker and the DCU overall here on the channel. But that is all for me for now. This has been I don't know what just happened. I just got bounced off, and but this is all for me for now. This has been our Peacemaker Season 2, episodes 1 through 3 review. I am signing off until next time. See you on the next one. Later, y'all.